Hello, this is BioEnchanted, and welcome to my Let's Play of Disney's Bolt on the Xbox. This is a game I quite enjoy. It's got a lot of a very wide variety in its levels, and it has its own little plot that follows the story of the TV show that Bolt stars in the movie, not the actual movie itself. So let's get stuck in, shall we?
That's nice. Welcome to the Bolt, and more Bolt Marathon. Thank you. It's so nice to be here. So, fasten your seatbelts for 6 discs and over 940 non-stop explosive minutes of high-octane, adrenaline-charged Bolt action! Most noble magic box, may you run glitch-free with courage and fortitude. Let the awesomeness commence!
I really like that framing device, that this whole thing is basically Rhino watching Bolt's TV show. That's a really cute framing device for the game. Of course, this doesn't follow an entire series of a TV show that would be ridiculous, but it's a good arc. Yeah. So here's the basic controls of the game, for Penny at least. Of course, we have two sets of characters, two characters to play as. This is the stealth stuff we play as Penny.
Well, yeah, but get this. The professor's daughter shows up with her dog, and it was not pretty. They beat the tar out of him.
No way.
Unfortunately, this game doesn't actually have subtitles, so we can't put those on, as I find to my own cost in a minute.
Oh, now.
Yeah, just no subtitles, which is a shame, but yeah. I also quite like that because it's the whole frame device, when you're pausing it, it's canonically Bolt pausing to... No, not Bolt, but Rhino pausing to do something like a bathroom break or going to refresh his drink, that kind of thing, which is kind of cute. And of course, the sneaking mechanics are fairly basic, but they do the job fairly well. Now here we're coming up with the first collectible in the game. There are 2 sets of collectibles, well really 3. One set for Penny, which are these. The power upgrades for her, which increase her power meter. She doesn't actually have a health meter though because her stuff's entirely stealth. So if you get caught, it's game over. You just have to kind of... I mean, there are kind of ways to get around that. Like, there is a bit of a combat thing Penny can do. She can take care of it if she gets caught. It's not instant game over, that would be frustrating. But she can't really fight them off as effectively as Bolt can. She can't just fight all of the goons at once with no consequences. She does have to be somewhat careful. There's not good, kind of hidden behind the camera a little bit there. I quite like to see in that room ahead of time. I believe that's the room we'll end up in at the end of the video. Time to see Penny being kind of stone cold. Of course, the beginning of this arc is Penny infiltrating Calico's mansion to try and find out what's going on here. course, it's the usual thing. Her father's been kidnapped, time to save him, because that's how the TV show that Bolt was in worked. There's one bring up as well, one of the stupidest criticisms I ever heard of this game when reading reviews of it, was this complaint that John Travolta didn't come back to reprise his role as Bolt, and it's just like, that's not the casting department not having the budget or anything, mate. That's just that Bolt isn't going to talk in this game, because Bolt doesn't talk. In the movie he talks for us, because it's our viewpoint character. We hear his thought process basically and his interactions with other animals, but this is the TV show he starred in which he was just a dog. A dog with superpowers, but he's still a dog. You can't expect that much from him. He doesn't actually speak English. But this game does have pretty good characterization though for the characters later on. Like, it does do a good job humanizing Penny, and I'd say humanizing Bolt too, but you know what I mean, like doganizing Bolt, I guess. Canizing? That could work better. But of course you have a few quick time events to do, but they don't really get too in the way. And also sometimes you have to use the vision to see where you're meant to go next, but often it's quite straightforward like here. But I kind of went a bit quick here because that guy saw me. So this shows off what happens if you get spotted as Penny. You can't really fight them properly, but you get a lot of quick time events. If you fail a quick time event, I believe it's game over, but you can at least, like, that gives you an out if you screw up the stealth. But overall with this game, I do quite like the writing. It's, as you'll see in the upcoming cutscenes and the whole thing with Rhino, it's got a lot of cute ideas of how the characters should interact and things, and the whole Rhino frame device is really good, which I really like it. At the end of the level there's actually going to be some pretty fun dialogue as well, so. Of course here's Penny's next maneuver, ability to turn temporarily invisible. And that's the last power upgrade for this level. I'll be trying to find as many of these upgrades and secrets as I can. I know I can find a lot of them, it's just when I first played through the game I couldn't find them all, and there's no FAQs for it, so I'm having to just do my best with my own playthrough. So if I miss something, I'll miss it. And I won't know. But I'll do my best to be as thorough as I can and find everything I can find. But here we have a cute little use of the wheel bar mechanic. I quite like this little bit here because it doesn't look the same as all the other wheel bar things, but it can actually go up the chimney, which is a neat idea. The levels have interesting designs behind them, at least visually. And they do get quite hard towards the end as well. This game gets quite difficult. Mostly in platforming, but sometimes, of course there is combat. We're only seeing Penny's half of the game right now, but the combat does get quite difficult later on. But we'll discuss that at the end of this section of the level, which is coming up now. This means we're at the end of the level.
Why keep the professor alive if he refuses to cooperate?
Because he's the only person who can finish the weapons installation.
Calico says the key is his daughter. If we catch her, the professor will do whatever we ask.
It's the girl!
Where's the dog?
Bold, sicko.
Also, a neat thing with the writing in this game is that everything Bolt does is coded as a command that Penny gives him. In this case, Sick'em, but of course there are other commands later on for recon and things like that, which I quite like. So before we actually beat up all these goons, let's find these 3 secrets in this arena, because of course even these little arena levels have actual secrets to find in them, and there we go. And one thing I quite like with Bolt's combat is it's very satisfying. Like, the hits feel like they hit quite hard because of that. The environmental damage is so much fun to watch. And there's a lot of like cracking of floors and breaking of windows when there's windows to break, that kind of thing. It's just a satisfying combat engine because of all the environmental damage you can do. Like there, just throwing that guy straight out the window is just amazing. Of course, I'll be doing as much damage to this room as I can be while fighting these guys. Because why wouldn't you? It's just fun. And also, something I quite like, as you can see at the moment, we have the right trigger invulnerability, but we also have the right bumper, which allows us to do super speed right now. That's the only superpowers we have right now, but each superpower we get will go onto a different shoulder button, which means you have access to all of them at once. Which essentially means when we get towards the end of the game, we'll be able to just pull out mechanics like we are right now, actually, with this slam attack, and it's basically how it uses his super strength, along with the actual beating goons up and everything like that. But the slam is his real super strength move. But we can just use that. We can throw in the speed to dodge enemies. You can do the invulnerability to block. We can just do any of that in any order as long as we have the power meter to do it. And it's quite satisfying to just string it all together and be able to just use any attacks that you have available, just whenever you can pull them out. There's no need to do any complicated combos to do the attacks or anything like that. And of course the B commands are quite fun as well. There's one for each shoulder button. And those are quite fun to watch. I quite like the Y one where he just does this thing where he kind of like slams them back and forth between foreground and background, kind of, one behind him. Which is a very common fighting game move, but it's really funny to see a tiny little dog doing it. Just generally, this is a fun engine because you're seeing a very small dog doing all this. I also quite like that, seeing his eyes glow as well when you're using his superpowers. That's a cute little visual touch. When you're using like the super slam and things, you can briefly see his eyes start to glow. Because of course that's how the how his powers manifest themselves physically in the glowing eyes and the glowing bolt on his side. I was quite like how much we've wrecked the room already. Just a really satisfying thing. And here's the end of this level now. Time to fight a helicopter. It's a fairly basic helicopter fight, really. Use the boosters, get a little bit ahead of the bullets just to make absolutely sure I don't accidentally run into them on the initial volley, of course. And then it's just running in circles so it stops firing. And then we'll have a quick time event and repeat that multiple times. But it's a fun enough introduction to the combat system there. We'll get some new powers quite quickly after this video as well. Like in the next couple of videos we'll be getting quite a few new toys to play with. So it's not like we'll be stuck with just these few moves at our disposal for the entirety of the first half of the game or whatever. It'll actually open up fairly quickly. But it's just generally, I've had a lot of fun playing this game, even when it got quite difficult. It was difficult in an interesting way, that I maybe kind of have to think about how to deal with the different enemy types and things like that, and when to use certain powers in certain circumstances. But we'll see that when we unlock the powers for now. Now we only have a very basic arsenal of dodge, block, and shockwave attack. Let's just keep dodging a bunch of these missiles, shall we? And that's just really satisfying, this part, really. Just throwing the missile back at the helicopter, that was what sold me on this game initially.
Where's my dad?
In the Yucatan jungle, at Calico's temple hideout.
Which jungle?
I don't know. Lamanai.
Lamanai in your Belize, of course.
You can't win. There are too many of us.
Are you gonna hurt him?
Your dad? I don't know what Calico's gonna do to your
I
father.
was talking to my dog. What are they all defending? I'm gonna figure it out. Bull, go play.
And there's the recon command, go play, which is a cute way of using that command, really. And I also really like the writing in that cutscene with like Bolt beating the thug with his piano and everything like that. That was just a really funny visual, just because of that giant piano in the tiny little dog's mouth. It's just adorable, and it's just a strong example of why I love the writing in this game. But I'll see you for the next level. I hope you've enjoyed this so far. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.